It's about food, lifestyle, milestones in the medical practitioner's field, especially in our Muslim Ummah, and more so, your health. Discover breakthroughs and milestones in the medical field. Learn how to manage diseases.
Oh, that was not painful.
Join the discussion. Make about your family, your lifestyle. So keep it locked Horizon TV on Healthy Thursday with me, Mariam Mwacharo.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Amani juu yako mtazamaji, wanakwetu wanatambua kama Mariam Mwacharo. Unatizama The Sabah Show. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to another Healthy Thursday with me Mariam Mwacharo, tukikujia moja kwa moja kutoka katikati mwa jiji la Nairobi, jengo la Jamia hapa Horizon TV, ikiwa leo ni tarehe 19 mwezi wa Septemba mwaka 2019, same as the 20th of Muharram 1441. Now this week we continue our discussion on mental health, finalizing on depression, and then now shifting our gears and taking a look at anxiety. These two conditions, depression and anxiety, they are the ones that affect most of the people in our country today. Now, as usual, we begin with the newspaper review, and today I have with me the lovely Leila Duale, as well as the young gentleman there, Abubakar Mushiri, ambao ni mabingwa wachanganuzi na wachambuzi wa masuala ya kisiasa ama mchambuzi wa magazeti. Kumbuka mtazamaji, unaweza kutupata kwenye social media platforms zetu. You can join the discussion there on Instagram, Twitter and Facebook at Horizontv Kenya, or you can chat with me directly on my Facebook at Mariam Kasim. Asanteni sana na karibu katika studio zetu. Tuanze na uchambuzi wa magazeti. Tukianza na gazeti la Standard, pale habari inayopewa kipaumbele ni kwamba surprise strike as Uhuru now backs Mariga for Kibra seat, and it goes on to say football star who had initially been portrayed as Ruto candidate by some MPs gets backing by President Kenyatta, and the story continues on page 5 of the Standard there, and it goes on to say before Mariga was a candidate for deputy president, and now that Uhuru is backing him. Why do you think this is actually termed as a surprise strike, Leila?
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. First and foremost, the whole Mariga issue, he's a Jubilee candidate at the end of the day.
Yeah.
He's a Jubilee candidate. So the whole politics behind Uhuru and Ruto is what is surprising people. Because at the end of the day, first of all, we're supposed to congratulate Uhuru because he's supporting a young man, a youth, to just go out there and to vie for the seat. What is so wrong with that? Yeah. So politicizing Uhuru and Ruto, they're still on the same boat. Either way, they're still in Jubilee. So if they support a candidate, this applies to them. It's not supposed to be individualized. This candidate for Uhuru, this candidate for Ruto, they're all in Jubilee at the end of the day.
First, I would like to oppose what she's saying, that Uhuru and Ruto are still sailing the same boat. When you talk about a political party, it's an organization or an institution that ideologically brings you together. But the moment two people in the same party, one is the chair and the other one is the vice, and the two people have different agendas. One is focusing on a legacy, the other one probably on one eye is on elections. Then you're not sailing the same boat. One, the politics with Mariga started with his nomination at first, because Ruto allies allegedly wanted to post him because he's popular, so he could maybe in some kind of way pull some votes towards Jubilee. But Uhuru's allies allegedly, so they were not keen on electing someone strong in the seat. So it looked like Uhuru's allies are not into this because they want to leave the seat to be retained by ODM, and that's where the politics started with it. And that the surprise is because Mariga was Ruto's candidate. He was Ruto's allies' favorite because they saw him as one who can create some kind of competition with the ODM candidate. But so it is a surprise that Uhuru is backing him up. So I think it's a move to try and mend the rift in Jubilee.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my point of view.
And plus, in any case, yeah, if at all Uhuru and Ruto would have been divided as people want to portray it, then Uhuru would have supported an ODM candidate, because people are saying that him and Baba are friends, they're allies, they're buddies, yeah. But then he's gone ahead to support one of his own. So, as I am saying, these people are still sailing on the same boat. Jubilee is what is bringing them together, and at the end of the day, they'll see to it that Jubilee carries the day.
Yeah. Okay, heading on Taifa Leo pale gazeti inasema kwamba Sonko chini ya maji kuhepa DCI. Inasema kwamba gavana huyo mwenye makeke na mbwembwe akosekana kwenye majukwaa ya kisiasa kitaifa. Hii habari pengine kama ningeisoma tu, masaibu yanayomkumba gavana wa Nairobi bwana Mike Sonko kuhusu kashfa za ufisadi yamkini yamemchochea kugeuza mienendo yake kwa namna ya kushangaza, hiki kikiaminika anahitajika kwamba na ujasusi, yani maafisa wa ujasusi wa DCI. Inaendelea ile habari, ukurasa wa pili inasema kwamba Sonko unajua anajulikana sana, ni mtu ambaye hujitoa mara nyingi barabarani na msafara, katika mikutano, ni mtu ambaye huzungumza sana, lakini sasa anaonekana ni kama anakwepa, na hivi juzi pia kulikuwa na kumbukumbu ya mazishi ya babake na hakwenda kwa sababu ati maafisa wa DCI walikuwa pale. Je, hii inaashiria kwamba pengine kuna kitu ambacho Sonko hataki watu wakitambue kuhusiana na uchunguzi wake ama vipi?
This coming from Horizontv, this is from Sonko, this is typical of him in any case. Yeah, because he's known, I don't know what happens to him or how he does his things, but at the end of the day, we should let the law proceed. If he's supposed to be questioned by the DCI, let him avail himself, because at the end of the day, we need to have an account of what is happening in the county government. We cannot have issues of corruption and looting of public funds day in, day out. We need to put an end to this. So let him avail himself. I mean, if he's guilty of such of economic crimes, then let him face the full wrath of the law.
In the beginning, he did say that he is ready, he's going to, face the law and everything. But now he seems to be, doing some sort of in and out the bamboo forest run with the DCI officers. What is your take on that, Abubakar?
First, it's very positive that a governor is hiding, fearing the DCI. It's exciting because, impunity cannot be allowed in this country. Whether you are a governor, whether you are a member of parliament, if you have a case to answer, then you have to be called. But I'm surprised that, DCI have to arrest him in a rally. I'm surprised because if at all there are charges that are to be pressed against you, if at all there are investigations that you should be done upon you, then they should come to your office or such. So I don't know why he will be hiding. Maybe it's fear or some anxiety, as you're talking about. But if at all he's guilty of whatever he's being charged, and if you are innocent enough, these are show of, the guilty are always running, they're always afraid. So these are kind of show of that he's not confident about himself, he's not confident that he's innocent, and that's why he might be hiding. So we'll see the DCI at all, they have all the resources to get to him, and if at all investigations are to be done, and if he's found guilty of anything, then the charges will be pressed against him.
Tukiendelea pale katika gazeti la Daily Nation, and the same news is also covered on the Star. It goes on to say that Cohen body is mine to bury, says widow. Now on the Daily Nation it says that ahead of post-mortem examination, Sarah Wairimu Cohen notifies mortuary that as the widow, she should be given the body for the last rites. And on the Star there, we have on the splash, it says that Dutch paper says Tob Cohen head was smashed. Now we know that the results from the post-mortem are not yet out. This is from the Dutch paper, but it also goes on to say that Sarah Wairimu demands to be given her husband's body for burial as sister insists on interring her brother. And according to Kenyan law, I understand that when you have a husband and he dies, then the body naturally goes to the wife. So this is a kind of tug of war between the sister and the wife to the late Cohen. What is your take on that, Leila? Where do you think this is going to head?
The problem with perhaps even Kenyans, for example, how they've been portraying Sarah Wairimu on social media, is that they don't understand that you are innocent until proven guilty. So yes, she's the prime suspect in this murder and whatnot, but at the end of the day, she remains the legal wife of the late billionaire. So let them give her the right to bury her husband, because she's not been prosecuted. Yeah, she's not been charged, she's not been fully given, she's not been convicted within the laws of Kenya. So she's innocent until proven guilty. Let her be given the rights. And in any case, we've had these cases time and time again. Under customary law, for example, we've had the issues of marriage. We had the issue of Atieno, for example, and the wives were given the right to bury their husbands. So this is what's supposed to take cost here.
You share the same sentiments?
Maybe or not quite, but you know, I couldn't blame Kenyans for whatever they are talking about. Yes, we sometimes exaggerate on talking about some personal issues or celebrity issues on social media and such, but you can imagine if I write a note and take it to the police and it's stamped and all that, it has very many stamps talking about that my wife is a threat to me, and I happen to die. For obvious reasons, human thinking, you'll tend to suspect one person, and you'll kind of be sure that it's this person. And again, well, she has the right to bury the body, but I feel for the family of Cohen, because if at all these are prime suspect for the murder of your family member, and then she has the right to bury the body, but you'll still be ish about it, because you, for the interest of you know, family ties and such, you'll be looking at the person with a different eye from, you know, naturally saying so. But if the law is to be followed, she'll be given the body to bury, but we expect very high opposition from the Cohen family.
Okay, let's go on ahead and take a look at the stories inside the papers. We have there on the Star, it starts from the Splash activist alleges assault by officer in immigration. The story continues on page 25. If I may just take a moment there and take a look at it, and also go through a couple of the paragraph. It says that Mombasa rights activist Salma Ahmed went to the immigration office on Tuesday to ask about two pregnant women who had complained that they had to queue for more than 7 hours for service. Now, Ahmed is the deputy executive director of Haki Africa, and rights activist protested on Wednesday against the assault. And goes on to say that one of the officers there from the immigration offices actually assaulted her. You know, she's now suffering head, neck, and back injuries. My question is, most of these human rights activists, they always suffer, you know, in the process of, you know, taking into account and trying to help citizens. What do you think should be the way forward in terms of maybe taking care of our activists in the country, Leila?
They're supposed to be protected, because this is not the first time you're having activists being assaulted, and it's happening in every corner of this country. And not only activists, even as an ordinary citizen, the minute you try to stand up for your rights, you're assaulted. Yeah, even when you encounter, for example, the traffic police and whatnot, they just harass people. And one thing that they're supposed to understand is that each and every citizen of this country has rights which have been safeguarded by our constitution. So, for example, for the pregnant women, why would they be queuing for 7 hours? Wajamani hata hiyo ni kukosa utu, because this is a pregnant woman. And that's why you find even in hospitals, even in, for example, other government facilities, they're given the first priority. Wamaliziwe, waende. So having an activist fight for that and being assaulted again, it's a shame on those officers.
It's very unfortunate, you know. First, it's a heroic act, you know, despite her suffering the injuries that she's suffering for. It's a heroic act, you know. It was for a good cause that that she was doing this. But I tend to worry, you know, if as a citizen of this country you are humiliated, you are assaulted by police officers or other, you know, institutions which are kind of powerful to some sense, and then an activist who is trying to talk on your behalf is also getting assaulted. I mean, to what level can we get justice? You know? Because first, assault is a crime. The person involved right now should be under arrest. Should be, you know, going under prosecution or something. Because, you know, you cannot be assaulting someone on, you know, basis. You know, I was reading the story, and the person who assaulted her was saying that you cannot teach me how to do my job. You know, these are violent person by nature. He or she has no reason to do whatever he did. But I mean, the law, we are not following the law as per se, because if this activist is assaulted and the person who did it is arrested, and if another activist during a demonstration is beaten up by police officers and the police officers involved, they get arrested or some action is taken against them, then that's the only way we can curb this. Otherwise, we'll be talking about assaults on activists on a daily basis. But when we take an action, when we come out as the people involved, the Haki Africa is, of course, it's based somewhere. If the residents of that area, see that what was done is not right and this person was injured for our cause, and they come out in numbers and speak, then some action will be taken against the person, and that's the only way we can protect the rights of activists. But otherwise, we can have no one else, to talk on behalf of activists. So it's about that collective responsibility so that we can force things to happen. Because otherwise, you have discovered in Kenya, if you sit around, no one will help you.
Yeah. Okay, let me come back to that because I have something that we can relate to that, and I will ask a question just after this break. Let's take a short break. Remember, you can join the discussion on our social media platforms on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter at Horizontv Kenya, or you can chat with me directly on my Facebook at Mariam Kasim. See you in a short while. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Amani juu yako mtazamaji. Wanakwetu wanatambua kama Mariam Mwacharo. Unatizama The Sabah Show.
Healthy Thursday is not just about diseases. It's about food, lifestyle, milestones in the medical practitioner's field, especially in our Muslim Ummah, and more so, your health. Discover breakthroughs and milestones in the medical field. Learn how to manage diseases.
Oh, there was no painful.
Join the discussion. Make better decisions on your meal plans. Improve your lifestyle.
All the doctors who are there were tired of working in maternity and taking care of women. And they say, you are the new kid on the block. We are leaving this department to you.
Healthy Thursday is about you, about your family, your lifestyle. So keep it locked Horizon TV on Healthy Thursday with me, Mariam Mwacharo.
تبارك الذي نزل الفرقان على عبده ليكون للعالمين نذيرا.
Ni kitabu kitukufu.
Qur'ani ni kitabu ambacho cha miujiza
kilichoteremshwa kwa mpangilio.
Hazikuletwa harufu hizi za mkato moja kwa moja.
Hakuna mfano wake.
Na hamwezi nyinyi Makureishi kuwa ni wenye kutunga kitabu kama hiki ingawa zimetumia harufu zile ambazo zimezitumia katika kuandika au katika kusema.
Miujiza yake Al-Malik.
Mwenyezi Mungu ana uwezo usiokuwa na kifano.
Ni malengo ya Qur'an.
Khazain zote za ardhi na samawati ziko mikononi mwake.
Sheikh Muhammad Badamana na uchambuzi wa Qur'an kwa undani kila Alhamisi saa 3 usiku kwenye Horizon TV.
Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Amani juu yako mtazamaji. Wanakwetu wanatambua kama Mariam Mwacharo. Unatizama The Sabah Show. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Kwa mara nyingine, shukran sana kwa kuendelea kutegea the premier Islamic TV station Horizon TV. Tunaendelea na uchambuzi wa magazeti. You're joining us on the second segment of this particular show today, being Healthy Thursday. Remember, later on we're going to be talking about anxiety, and we'll also conclude on the topic that we started last time on depression. This month being the Mental Awareness Month, and next month being the World Suicide Prevention Month. But let's continue with our newspaper review. There's some news that has just reached us here, rather sad. And it says fire claims 28 at Islamic school in Pinsville, and it goes on to say a major tragedy hit an Islamic community school in the clustered Bassa Town settlement in Red Light, Pinsville City, where at least 26 students between the ages of 12 and 18 years of age and 2 instructors met their tragic demise in a house fire. Now, it goes on to say that frantic efforts became fruitless, and the madrasa school is situated close to the mosque, and there was actually no fire exit, for this. And it goes on to say that some of the children below 10 years, they didn't even know what to do, so they just stayed in and were consumed by the fire. I think, if you take a look, most of our companies, most of our facilities, they usually don't have these security tenets that are important to incur in every, building. And I don't know who usually... I'm sure there's a law that says when you build a particular building, it should have this, it should have that, and people still don't do it. Where's the problem?
Okay, in Kenya we have the Safety and Occupational Act, and it has provided for all this. Mm-hmm. And you find that at times people, when they build, when they construct, they try to actually not follow what they've been told. Mm-hmm. And the problem comes in there are people who are sleeping on the job, because at the end of the day we have people who should follow up, we have people who should supervise when buildings are being constructed, and plus this is a school, it's a public institution, which is being inhabited by people, by young children from different walks of life. So they should follow what the law stipulates. For example, in Kenya, as I've told you, we have an act. Yeah. And we've had issues where, even from the Ministry of Education, when I was in high school, they used to come and they would supervise if you don't have fire extinguishers, they're supposed to be the exits, and there's a time they gave that tool, Yakutoa the wire mesh, I think, which was being placed on the windows to allow students to be able to run out in case of fire. So maybe on their end the laws have not fully provided for that, but in Kenya we have the laws. Yeah, and Abubakar, if I may just quote something here, it says that we are indeed in disbelief and total shock that such tragedy and disaster have snatched our beloved, brilliant and promising Arabic school children forever from the face of our troublesome planet Earth. And the shock and disbelief, there's also this realization that according to BBC, that the windows had steel bars, so the children couldn't even escape. What is your 2 cents on this?
It's very hurting, considering also it was Muslims who died, children who died in the incident. And last year also we had a case in Malaysia, where also a madrasa school at night, there was a fire, and the elder children, 16 and 18, they were able to escape, but the younger ones were in trouble. Yes, we have a law, but it's very unfortunate. You are looking at a public institution, you are constructing a school where children, you have been trusted by the parents of these children with their lives, and a fire can happen, out of electric faults and such kind of things. It's an accident, but the preventive measures that you take, that the concern that you have for these children will ensure that you have those facilities, or you have preventive measures, that in case of such an accident, that the lives of the children will not be lost. But it's very unfortunate, and it's all about responsibility. If the institutions should be responsible in terms of prevention of accidents, and also talking about buildings, the building of buildings in such. I was seeing also a case in Nairobi today that the disabled also are they have been neglected in terms of buildings.
Yeah, and that's what I wanted to bring my attention to. But before we go to that, I think we should also take a lesson from Liberia, but I don't know, you'll tell me what your thoughts are. you see, most of the time when we have these institutions like madrasas and small schools, they just mushroom from anywhere. Somebody can just take a house, you know, a house that they rent, and then one of the rooms is actually a school. What form of legislation should be there so that we can actually have some form of security and discipline in this?
Okay, the problem comes down to perhaps we should have, when people are registering for such, because that's a business, when they're registering for such businesses, let them go through the correct procedure. Let them meet the standards of running a school, because there are very many schools. Go to Isli, go to South Sea, everywhere they're changing mansionettes to schools, of which it's unfortunate because I don't think they meet the standards of having students inhabiting that place. So let people stop sleeping on their job again, because the laws are there. The laws have been provided. We have legislations. So the problem is the people who are not following the law. Yeah.
I mean, you know, when you talk about laws, it's all about implementation. And for a law to be implemented, it's normal for people to be money oriented, because people are starting these businesses not only about schools. People are starting churches everywhere. You know, for money reasons. They do not have religion at heart, actually. But about the implementation of the laws, it's the role of the government. Legislation are there, but it's human nature to be defiant because you want money. And if someone does not follow you close enough, then you tend to break the law, because you are not fearing anything. You know, I've seen driving schools. I've seen recently, so you know, legislations on driving schools being very keen that, you know, if a driving school is not on 1 acre piece of land, then the license is closed and such, which was in the move to reduce the number of accidents that happens. And so we have to boil down to the public institutions so that we prevent such kind of accidents. And it's the role of the government to implement the law. It's, you know, if we do not follow people close enough, people will be doing whatever they want. Yeah.
So I think it's the someone, as Leila said, is sleeping on their job. That disciplinary quote unquote committee that should be following up on this isn't doing their job. Okay. Yeah, now back to that story on the Star, page 23 says, survey exposes city as unfriendly to people living with disabilities. And this is in relation to that. You know, most Nairobi buildings and streets are unfriendly to people with disability. A new survey has shown. Now, the survey by the Open Institute Ability Program covered the availability of ramps, lighting in corridors, and braille in the lifts. The other factors are auditory lifts, the kind that announces which floor you're in, and the width of corridors and doors for wheelchairs, and availability of special toilets for PWDs, and those are persons with disabilities. And this is the same thing that we're talking about. Like, what should be changed, because this has been going on for so long, and being in the city center here in Nairobi, it is quite embarrassing, don't you think?
Well, one thing that we must acknowledge is where we are at now when it comes to the rights of persons living with disability. Is you cannot compare it to how it was before. Because right now, even in schools, in institutions, for example, like Moi University School of Law, we had 2 blind students who have been provided for everything. Yeah, and this is a public institution, and we are moving towards the full realization of their rights, because again, we have the United Nations, which is provided for vastly for the rights of persons living with disability. But again, considering that Nairobi is the capital city, we're not supposed to be having such things making news in the dailies, because they're supposed to have provided for such things. And if the buildings cannot comply with providing for persons living with disability, then let it be shut down, because again, they are people, they are Kenyan citizens, they have rights. It's not their fault that they're disabled, so let them provide for them.
You know, again, last week there was a suggestion in the papers that what if the schools with disabilities are allowed to accommodate, you know, people who are not disabled, to, you know, to bring that sense of you are normal, you know, to the people with disability. But to me, that is not workable. It's ensuring that these people do not have difficulties in their daily duties that will make them feel accepted in the society. It's not about mixing them as such, because there will be some form of negligence to them. But you know, in public institutions have done well in you know, caring about the people with disabilities. When I was in high school, there was ablution block being built, and you could see one toilet at the end set for people with disabilities and such, which is very positive. In mosque, I see, you know, we are moving in the right direction. Only that we have not come to that full realization of our dreams. But there's a lot of talking about the public institutions. They are doing well probably, and community staff and such. But the CBD, it's quite a challenge because, you know, people are not keen enough on such. People are not keen enough because they are looking at the majority population, not caring about the people with disabilities. And it's upon those who, you know, pass the initiations of buildings to look at disqualify buildings. Yes, as much as you have built it according to, you know, architectural standards and such, but if you have not put into consideration people with disabilities, then they should not be let to run.
Yeah, and talking about the same thing, heading towards the right direction, there is some better news here, rather. On the Star, page 7, says NEMA shuts down Ngong Hospital over pollution. Now, the National Environmental Management Authority on Wednesday closed a hospital in Ngong town for the discharging waste into the environment. Trinity Care Center was shut down following complaints from residents. And I think this should go on even more because many people tend to overlook the environment, and the environment is what is supporting our life system. What's your 2 cents on that, Leila?
NEMA should actually proceed to do the same in each and every county in this country, because there's no way we can take our environment for granted. There's no way we're just going to pollute it and act like it's nothing, because at the end of the day, it will come back to us. Yeah, because we need this environment, and the more we maintain it, the more it's clean, the more we ensure that we don't pollute it, then we will safeguard the lives of the future generations. We talk about climate change, we talk about deforestation, we talk about all that. All this affects our environment, and it affects our daily lives, because go to Northeastern, for instance, go to Eastern, look at those areas. People they're dying of hunger, starvation, famine. And these are the small things which are leading to that. We might look at that pollution being something so small, but again, it's a very big thing. And again, they let this effluent go into the environment, the wastage. There are children who are playing everywhere. Imagine they're consuming such. We have people who cannot afford bottled water, but the same is being channeled to the rivers. So it's unfortunate. Let NEMA continue, let them shut down, even if it's shutting down level 5 hospital because of not complying, let them do so.
Yeah, Bakari, you remember there was a time that there was a story that was covered, you know, about Nairobi River and the environment and the effects that it has. What is your take on that? Do you think that this is a more positive way we should go? And should we really leave it to NEMA only?
You know, of course, it's positive what NEMA is doing, but you know, I look back to the times that Nairobi River was clean. I look back to the time that rivers in Mau, you know, were alive, but right now they are dying, you know. And we are talking about drought and famine in each and every year, not realizing that we are the causes of these events. And you know, first we talk about Nairobi River. The major you know, criminals or people who are destroying it are, you know, private farms, industries, you know. They are putting the industrial waste into the river. Now, these are hospital, which was also polluting the environment in some way or another. But if we are to conserve the environment, if you are really sincere about, you know, the conservation of the environment, it's an issue of collective responsibility. It has to start with us, because yes, it's that hospital which is in management of waste, but they just dispose it carelessly. But what about us, our garbage? If you are drinking a bottle of water, where do you throw your bottle, or where do you throw papers that you are not using? You know, we have all contributed in one way or another in destroying the environment. And it's for us, you know, to wake up and smell the coffee that this thing is harming us, you know. So it's about let's start with us ourselves. Your home waste, your garbage, how do you dispose it? And then we can talk about private farms, you know, industries, because this is a private hospital that was shut down, you know, putting disposing waste into the environment. Then NEMA can curb that. And then we can talk about, you know, it's two ends, you know, it's something that has to be done by all of us. Otherwise, if we fail on one end, it won't be possible. Then talk about deforestation. People who are cutting trees, you know, for sale and such. And there was a law that if you are to cut one tree, then you are supposed to plant several on it. How well is it being implemented on that? Because this is something that has to be tackled from very many angles so that we can be successful in it. And we have to also remember that we have a 10% forest cover that we need to achieve, which we are very far from it. But where is the Ministry of, what Keriako Tobiko is not talking about this, but I have to give him credit that he's doing something about the Mau, but I think we need to do more, because the lives of Kenyans are dependent on this, as much as we may not see it directly, but in one way or another, people are dying from drought, people are dying from famine, and it's our responsibility.
Yeah, definitely. And that also reminds me that, there's this common poster that used to be put in school. Back then, it used to say, when a cat goes to the washroom, they actually cover it up. But what is wrong with us human beings when we drink water from a bottle or chew, you take chewing gum, why do you just trash it on the, to the environment? And that is degradation. You should be better than an animal. Anyway, that is discussion for later. See you in a short while. Let's take a short break. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Amani juu yako mtazamaji. Wanakwetu wanatambua kama Mariam Mwacharo. Unatizama The Sabah Show.
On the next episode,
mwenye kuapa yamini akaapa kiapo kwamba apate kutokana na yamini lile mali ya mtu atakuwa amechukua, wa huwa fiha kadhib, na ni mrongo, laqiya Allahu wa huwa alayhi ghadban, atamkuta Mwenyezi Mungu siku ya kiyama na Mwenyezi Mungu ana hasira. Wewe ukimkuta Mwenyezi Mungu kawaida watetemeka, je, utakapokuwa wamkutana na Mwenyezi Mungu siku hiyo yaumul qiyama na yeye ashakuwa mkali kwako, utakuwa ni vipi? Ufikirisha.
From the most interesting things is the alertness of the dying person at the time of his death. For he becomes perceptive to a degree which cannot be described, and worried to an extent that has no limits. And he yearns for his times of old, and wishes that he be left so that he can make up for what passed him by, and so that he can be truthful in his repentance, in accordance with the level of certainty he now has about death. And he, out of grief, almost kills his own soul before its actual death. And if a single atom's weight of these things were found at the time of health and well-being, everything that is intended by doing pious deeds would be achieved. So the intelligent one is he who pictures that hour and acts according to what it requires. And if he is not able to do that, then he visualizes it as much as he is able to, for it will prevent desire's hand and will arouse determination in him.
Wake up to exciting mornings every day. Active Jumatatu with Muhammad Obura. Tech Tuesday with Yusuf Farah. Wednesday, the special edition Business Chat with Ibtisam Jamal. All about your health on Healthy Thursdays with Mariam Mwacharo. Aisha Khan with thorny pertinent issues every Friday on The Round Table. Fresh discussions, direct probe in Sabah Show only on Horizon TV.
Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Amani juu yako mtazamaji. Wanakwetu wanatambua kama Mariam Mwacharo. Unatizama The Sabah Show. Shukran sana kwa kuendelea kutegea the Premier Islamic TV station Horizon TV. Tunaendelea na uchambuzi wa magazeti leo ikiwa ni Healthy Thursdays. Nami wako Mariam Mwacharo. Tukiangalia gazeti la Daily Nation pale ukurasa wa 8, there is a story there, Aror Dam to go on as Kimwarer halted. Now, President Uhuru Kenyatta has cancelled the planned construction of the controversial Kimwarer Dam after a report indicated that the cost of the 22.2 billion dam was inflated and that it was neither technically or financially viable. Now, this story also has been covered, I think, in the Star, and it goes on to say that, you know, some members are saying that it is not proper for the president to have stopped it. He continued the Aror because it's going to benefit some people that he knows, you know, and the Kimwarer is supposed to, you know, also support other people, and it is wrong. What is your 2 cents on this? Let me start with you, Abu Bakar.
You know, we cannot, it's very good that the dams were stopped. First, this is money which was disbursed. Nothing was happening on the ground. Trees were not cleared. You know, it was aimed at, you know, looking at water shortages, you know, food security and such. But there was politics in it. People who got the tender, you know, these are billions. These are projects worth billions of shillings. So there were politicians behind this, and they wanted to dip their pockets in it. And talking about, you know, some people it will benefit, Aror will benefit some people and such. Yes, we have politics in the tendering system. Our tendering system is not pure. This was happening also in county government of Nairobi, where Sonko was being questioned about the tendering system, where else he was saying he has no control over tenders. But as much as you are going to dip your hand in it, give us what we deserve. Work for us before you talk about, you think about your stomach, because these are dams which are to change the lives of people. These are dams that are to bring food security and reduce the level of water shortages. You have seen the Kaine Dam has not been serving its purpose. You know, the water levels have been low all the while. Nairobi doesn't have water and such. Dams are to solve this. But if now we are bringing corruption to development, I mean, the country won't go forward. And despite the politics in it, whatever, if a project is not working, if a tender is given and the contractor does not work, then the tender should be taken away from him immediately, because it's about delivering to the people. And I like His Excellency the President, because he's focused on changing the lives of Kenyans. He's focused on the Big Four agenda, and despite it not pleasing some people, he's going on ahead with it because he has the interest of the citizens at heart.
Leila, if I may ask you, do you think this is a good move for the president to have stopped the construction because of the embezzlement of the funds?
No, the problem is, over the years, we are letting a few individuals benefit from something which is supposed to benefit millions of Kenyans. Because this move that the president has taken in halting Kimwarer Dam is actually a very, very good move. And this is because they are saying that Aror Dam is going to benefit a few, but then look at the cut down, at the price cut down. He has cut it from 28 billion to nearly 15 billion.
Yes.
Yeah? This is a lot of money. Yeah? But then when you look at, you know, these are ghost projects when it comes, because we cannot have people being given tenders based on, you know, ethnicity, based on tribalism, nepotism, undo huyu ndo mkubwa anajulikana. We cannot be playing with the lives of Kenyans. We cannot be playing tomfoolery games with the lives of Kenyans, because Kenyans are suffering. Look at, for example, the whole area of Kimwarer. How many people are living below the poverty line? Very many of them. Yeah. But again, we have some few individuals, because wanaona hapa kuna pesa, they want to benefit. So this is not supposed to be the only project which is being halted. Look at the roads, for example. Uko mashinani ndani, the county governments, for example, wanasema wanataka pesa kujenga barabara. Then what happens after that? The roads are still the same. Watoto mpaka, I was looking at the other day, looking at some areas where the kids at a bridge and wanapita ni mbao hivi. What if they die? Yeah, very many Kenyans are living a very, 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 very pathetic life. And the reason is people are not utilizing the funds which the same Kenyans are working hard to provide for. People are paying taxes, because all this, it's from the contribution of Kenyans.
If we may continue on the Daily Nation, there, page 10, it says, what shall we eat? Kenya stares at food crisis as maize harvest to drop. And the story goes on to say, you know, we already have starvation in Kenya. Around 2.6 million Kenyans in some of the counties right now are facing starvation. And if you remember the other day, the president said that we have enough food for the country. So now what is happening?
problem is, we have food security being in the Big Four agenda, but we are not seeing the move towards the full realization of this agenda. Kenyans, very many Kenyans depend on maize. Yeah, that is their staple food. But again, the maize farmers, wanajitolea, wanalima, wanapanda, wanavuna. Is the government paying them their money? No, they're not. So what are they doing right now? They're retaining the maize. Wakiongoja bei pande juu till they release. That's not how we are supposed to work things out. Let the government and its people work towards harnessing the full realization of food security in this country. So it's going to get worse. And one to those who cannot afford even that bag of maize, because they'll suffer. And again, look at other countries. For example, Professor John Lonyangapo of West Pokot, look at what they're trying to do. Turkana wanajaribu kupanda kama ni sukuma wiki, wanaweka kwa gunia, wanaweka hapo, and then wanabwagia maji directly na inamea on the sides. So we are supposed to look at other ways in which we can try and utilize the resources that we have.
Yeah. Okay. Abubakar, if I may bring your attention to something else here on the Daily Nation on page 22. There's a story there, lack of fees threatens the future of many students in higher learning institutes. And it goes on to say more than 1,000 students at institutions of higher learning and technical colleges in Nakuru County have either deferred their studies or dropped out due to lack of fees in the past year. And it's not only Nakuru University, says all over the country, students in higher learning institutions are dropping out because of lack of fees. Do you think maybe the government should, emulate some of these, well, if I may say, the third world countries, the first world countries in terms of education? It should take the responsibility of educating its citizens when they go to tertiary levels of institution.
In the university, for you to finish your course in the exact 4 years that you're supposed to finish, it's very hard. Only like 50-60% finish at the right time, that they are supposed to finish. One, because of deferment, school fees. This semester I do not have enough fees, and there is nothing much being done. There is nothing. There are no people coming to help to help. As much as we talk about help and such, very few people get these loans, and the loans are at interest rates. It's very unfortunate. So, but the government has played a role in reducing, for those who are called to universities and such, it has reduced the amount of fees that they pay. But look at colleges and such. The Ministry of Education is looking towards reducing the amount of people who get into universities because of the unemployment, and they are taking it to colleges and technical institutions. Then what is happening, the happenings in Nakuru County are in colleges and technical institutions. If at all the government is willing to support technical skills and widen the job market, then they're supposed to, in a way, fund colleges and technical institutions, because as much as you are helping the universities to some certain extent, these are where the many people should be. Many people after Form 4 should be in colleges, technical institution, and then few at the university. That's the only way we can have some form of balance in the job market, because you are seeing engineers coming out of the field, but they do not have basic technical skills. I mean, it's unfortunate. So let the government boil down to colleges and technical institutions. As much they are doing something about universities, but what about the colleges? They should create some form of funding to them, and then we should have organizations. I see a lot of Muslim organizations that if I do not have school fees, that you can go and get some help. But how many people who are well off in the society are willing to take a step and give back, start an NGO without the aim of profit making, with the aim of helping people? We have billionaires in this country. We have politicians who are going with helicopters to political rallies, but people are suffering. It makes me look at the society as we are not caring for each other. Then the spirit of neighborhood, as living as brothers and sisters, it has reduced to a certain extent. And if only we had people who have that incentive, like the First Lady Margaret Kenyatta, who have that incentive to help people, then the government will play its part, individuals will play their part, and then we will be having very few of these cases.
And again, lack of school fees is not just the only problem that makes these students to defer their academics. Because yes, at times you might have the school fees, yes, but go back to this issue. Which institutions have adequate facilities? For example, hostels. We're talking about a student who perhaps has the school fees but does not have money to afford to pay hostel outside. How that student survive? They lack money to even eat food. This is just a problem that displays that we have an economic crisis in this country. Because again, institutions, for example, Moi University, my alma mater, we have very many students, nearly 15,000 plus students, but the hostels are not adequate. So what do students do? You have to seek accommodation outside. You pay rent an approximately around 6,000 per month. At times your parent cannot afford that. What do? You just defer your academics, unaenda utafute kibarua, and then with time unaenda ufanya semester moja, you break. That is what students are doing. And it's unfortunate because I don't think the academic dream should be stopped at any cost. So let the government look at their underlying problems. It's not just lack of school fees. There's so many challenges that these students are facing. So let them look into that.
Let's heading on to finalize there. We have on page 29, Nyoro exposes cash misuse in top county departments, and it goes on to say Deputy Governor James Nyoro has alleged massive embezzlement of funds in the county's various departments. Mr. Nyoro, who is acting governor after Ferdinand Waititu was barred from office yesterday, said millions of shillings could not be accounted for. Now, and this is for the year 2018-2019. Wakati bado tunatarajia pesa ya county bado inaendelea kupeanwa. Kuna pesa yenye inapotea katika county. Abubakar, do you think labda serikali should possibly, for these counties that, you know, have all these issues about money, should possibly hold their funds for now until all these issues are, you know, resolved, or do something about the government, maybe overhaul the county government and then have new people so that they can manage funds properly? What is your 2 cents on that? You know, devolution is something positive. Devolution, you know, brought development to the roots. And there is no way, there are no 2 ways about devolution. Devolution has to work, but it's for us to make it work. Now, as you know, the county governments were arguing, you know, with the national government that you have to increase the amount of money that you give us. But look at what they are doing with the money that they are given. You know, we have enough money in this country, but it's going to the wrong channels. You know, dams, people are stealing from them. County governments, I was looking at the approximate, you know, embezzlement of funds being talked about by the acting governor, and it could hit 2 billion shillings in one county government. Another year, 2016-2017, an audit was done by the Auditor General across counties, and most of them were having an approximate of 1 billion Kenya shillings that is unaccounted for. Or else we are saying there is no enough money in the country. There is money, but there is a lot of mismanagement of funds. And the audit of it is not happening because we should be seeing reports about each and every year, financial reports, that this county government cannot account for 1.5 billion shillings. This county government cannot account for this money. And also, looking at the other side of it, we have the Kwale County government, which is giving money back to the national government. Meaning, you know, they have an excess of it. They have more than for a consecutive 2-3 years. More than they need. So it's about how the county governments are not doing much as such, because we are not talking about, we have devolved corruption. Because people are getting money down there and they are using it as they want, and there is no one to talk. Because as a citizen of, you know, if assume I'm a Kiambu County resident, how will I know that money has been stolen? Unless, you know, there is a person who will raise an alarm. And if Waititu was still in the government, we will not be knowing about this. Because he will shut the others down, you know, he will give them money and shut them down. But the internal, the Auditor General and his office should do a lot on the county governments. And then in all systems of government, we need an opposition, because there is no one to critic the government in such, and that's what is happening in Kiambu County. Let me bring that to Lila. Do you think that's appropriate in every county government? We should have an opposition?
I wouldn't really define it as opposition. Rather, I would urge the county, the residents of each county, to ensure that public participation takes course, because it has been provided by the Constitution. you know, the problem with is our politicians wanasahau ya kwamba tumewapa kazi. They forget that. So they think that they're above the law. They think hao ndo wakubwa, kwanza wakitokea wanafaa kupangiwa line, wasalimiwa, waheshimiwa. That's not supposed to be the case because we have employed them. Let them know that they're supposed to be accountable to us. Again, Article 10 talks about transparency and accountability. They're supposed to be accountable to their citizens. So we're supposed to take a different approach. For instance, if Nairobi County has been given this amount of money, at the end of that financial year, let the citizens be called in the townhouses, whatever they call it. We have these debates.
Yeah.
Let us know how the money is being spent. At the end of the day, that money comes from our pockets. That's what we're supposed to, because when we talk about opposition, everybody will try to raise their agenda. You know?
Yeah, that's true. That also reminds me here, very quickly, it also, there's a story here that's very interesting, maybe just food for thought, is that Matiang'i's ministry budget for entertainment has been risen up 35 times only this year, up till June, okay? And money is continuing to just accrue and accrue and accrue for entertainment. And it doesn't say any sort of other entertainment, but travel and parties and luxury. Food for thought. Lastly, Uber to kick out drivers with low customer rating. And I think that's something we should also think about. I'm afraid we're running out of time. Thank you so much for joining me on the newspaper review this morning. Thank you so much, wachanganuzi wa maswala ya siasa na magazeti yetu, Leila Duale na Abubakar Mushiri. It has been a pleasure. See you on the next segment of the Sabah Show this morning. Today on Healthy Thursday, we'll be talking about anxiety after finalizing on depression owing to this month's mental awareness theme. See you in a short. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Amani juu yako mtazamaji. Wanakwetu wanatambua kama Mariam Mwacharo. Unatizama the Sabah Show.
Horizon TV, the beacon for the nation.
La 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la, la la la.
The third Halal Trade Expo this year invites you to Sarit Center in Nairobi